Do you think it kind of requires a fundamental rethinking of how buyers of AI agents will structure their own organizations in the future?
We've been on this trend line for the best part of a couple of decades where organizations tend towards decentralization, tend towards breaking out monolithic technology into more modular, composable pieces across an organization. And I think agentic AI and agents continue on this track, but they change it as well. So I'll explain a bit. I think that autonomy is essential with agents. We need to have them embedded into business teams, embedded into business processes at the bleeding edge so that they can operate effectively based on the specific targets of a business function, right? So you cannot centralize the activity of agents. They need to be a part of the business processes. So autonomy is really important when you think about structuring how you deploy. But uniformity is also very key. And this comes back to the point of orchestration, of making sure that there is good cohesion around how you think about deploying these things. So uniformity needs to be applied from a central perspective. And this regards to things like guardrails. It regards to things like how do we set policy to ensure that there's ethics and trust in how these agents work? How do we have strong observability to understand how are these agents actually working together across the organization? And do we have the right level of security in terms of how they're engaging as well? And so I think when we think about the operating model for agentic AI at scale, we have to strike this balance of high autonomy. So there's lots of innovation, lots of activity in the business processes, but strong uniformity as well, so that we have best practice in ethics, best practice in guardrails to make sure that agents are not stepping out of line.
We all know the word technical debt. We know process debt. But if not done right, there will be an agentic debt
100%.
If not incentivized correctly.
Let's look at contact centers, right? There's probably not much room to have creative agency in a contact center role, but there's plenty of room to have trusted, established human relationships. And so in this instance, if we think about those metrics for incentivization, we want velocity of value. We want to talk meaningfully, with as many customers as possible. And I say meaningfully because it's not just about volume of how many people you can talk to. It's meaningful conversations in the contact center and engaging with them in the right way. We want to remove the undifferentiated heavy lifting, which is often understanding as quickly as possible why a customer is calling in and placing them in the hands of the right service line or getting them to the right service. And so a lot of that can be automated with agents. But you want to increase the capacity, what I was calling creativity, let's call trust. Full automation, at least where we're at now in society, tends to have less trust from customers, whereas a good blend of automation with agents plus good customer human care maximizes trust. So come back to these metrics: velocity of value, as many meaningful conversations, undifferentiated lifting handled by the agents, capacity to innovate, capacity to have really meaningful conversations human to human with the customer. I think that's a good dimension to strive for.